All right. We're good? Okay. Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
And welcome to the November 19th Board of Elections regular meeting. This meeting is called to order, and the first order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. So would you please all stand?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There is a quorum, and we will proceed with the agenda. Is there a closed meeting summary?
Yes, the board met in closed session on October 15th, 2025 to discuss a personnel matter regarding the performance of a particular individual. The meeting was from 10:21 a.m. to 10:37 a.m. and no decisions were made.
Thank you. We have received copies of the October 15th, 2025 meeting minutes. And I asked if there are any changes or corrections to those minutes. Then is there a motion to accept the minutes as presented?
Madam President, I move acceptance of the minutes as presented.
Is there a second? A second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes are approved. We do have the agenda available to anyone in the public. And are there any changes to the agenda? Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I so move.
Second?
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The agenda is approved. At this time, I'd like to invite the public to make any public comments. Please stand and state your name.
My name is Gary Judy. I'd like to highlight this morning some correspondence that we've heard this past month with our state voter integrity group. It involves deceased people still on the Maryland voter rolls. This comes on the heels of the slow walking done by our state board of elections on turning over requested information to the U.S. Department of Justice. Comes on the heels of an illegal alien from Iowa showing up on the Maryland voting rolls, as well as the election judge parity issues that we've talked about. Our voter integrity group discovered multiple counties within Maryland that appear to have deceased people still on the voting rolls. In our case here in Talbot, it appears that the submitted names were still on our voting rolls as of September of this year. As of yesterday, I was told that our people haven't heard anything back yet on this. And I know that correspondence has been sent in to you all. The far-reaching issue with all this is that besides being very alarming, it greatly erodes the citizens' confidence of our current election system when we see the slow walking being done by our state election board to the DOJ, illegals and deceased people on our voting rolls, and regulations seemingly being ignored by our state and local boards on issues they don't like. Makes all of us wonder why all this is going on and what has to happen to bring citizens' trust back to our election system. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Sherry Wilcoxon. I'm a citizen of Talbot County. I wanted to bring some attention to, of course, we can't respond till 30 days after the last meeting, but erroneous information that was delivered at the last meeting, that's in those meeting minutes that are easily found when you watch the last meeting. And it has to do with the voter parity issue. Many erroneous statements have been stated about that. We worked very hard to recruit and get lots of election judges, Republican election judges, over the past several years. I'm bringing but one example because we have limited time, but we have a stack of these types of emails. And this was written October 17th to us. To whom it may concern, my name is Jason Bell, and I reside in Talbot County as a Talbot County resident. I inquired about becoming an election judge in July of 2024. I filled online and brought my paperwork directly to the Board of Elections in Easton, Maryland. I went to training on September 26, 2024. I didn't hear anything back until November 4th, one day before the election, stated that I had been relegated to standby judge as of 9:37 a.m. Do not come in. See attached. I've got all the emails. At 10:38 a.m., I received another email saying that due to an unexpected opening, I could serve in St. Michael's, Maryland as an election judge over 30 minutes away from my home. I responded immediately that I would. I was lucky I even caught the separate email so close to the other one. At 12:59 that same day, all just one day before the election with very little time to change my schedule, I received a confirmation to show up at St. Michael's School at 5:45 a.m., which meant leaving my house at 5 a.m. I believe this was an intentional play to potentially make sure I wouldn't be able to perform the duties of an election judge for the Republican Party. I am sure if others were to have gotten the communications the way I received them, they wouldn't have caught it or wouldn't be able to change their schedule at such a last-minute notice. This, in my opinion, was an attempt to subvert the law requiring a 50-50 oversight of the 2024 presidential election in Talbot County. And I do have all the receipts. I have all the emails from the Board of Elections. And we've got numerous ones like this, tons of them. So I'm not sure what was stated last time, but it wasn't accurate. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak?
These are my Board of Election meeting notes from 1920 or 2023.
Would you please
We
state
don't
your name?
have a podium here.
Would you please state your name?
I am Terrence Bernard, Easton, Maryland. At the heart of democratic governance lies the voting system, a mechanism designed to reflect the collective will of the people. For this system to truly serve its purpose, it must be so simple and transparent that every citizen, regardless of their background, education, or technological literacy, can not only participate, but also understand and verify every step of the process. This simplicity and transparency are not just about ease of use, they are fundamental to ensure equal access to the electoral process. If the mechanics of voting are shrouded in complexity or lack transparency, trust in the electoral outcome diminishes, eroding the foundation of our republic. At its essence, voting involves eligible citizens making their choices on paper, followed by straightforwardness count of these marks. This process doesn't necessitate elaborate or costly technology. Instead, it demands clarity, accessibility, and ability for the public oversight. For American citizens to genuinely reclaim their electoral process, immediate and comprehensive reform are imperative. To go into the absentee ballots, limited to as-needed basis, proof must be provided and accepted. Extreme scrutiny must be placed on every incoming ballot with additional integrity mechanism. There's no way to absolutely guarantee that the ballot received and tabulated in the same ballot that was sent to the voter without violating ballot secrecy. This is why absentee voting is so vulnerable.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak?
Yes, I would please. My name is Larry Schuyler. I'm a Talbot County resident. This is my second meeting that I'm attending. Thank you all. September approximately of last year, or was August, I came into the office. Actually, it was the business day before Labor Day. I spoke with the director, Tammy, in regards to applying to be an election judge. My question to her was, do we have parity? Now, I did not represent which, whether I was a Democrat, Republican, Independent, or anything of that nature. Her answer to me was, it's close. Now, I'm not sure what the definition you all with close is, but the numbers we had last year are not close, not even in horseshoes. So I was here last month, and I heard the question come up about parity to the director. And we sat here for minutes, waiting for an answer, and we talked around it. I never did get a confirmed answer. Yes, we do have parity. No, we don't. I went back and watched the August meeting, and again, the question was brought up about parity to the director, and it was still danced around. I would like to ask the question today, not expecting an answer because I know this is not a Q&A. Please, when it comes up today, if it does, can we get a confirmed answer? Transparency, clarity. Is there parity between the Republican and Democrat parties of election judges? Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak?
My name is Mary Yancey. Just regarding, the question about, deceased persons being on the, voter rolls, I assume that there's a process for, you know, how the Board of Elections is notified when people become deceased and, how the names are removed from the rolls. And I would be interested in hearing at some point what that process is, just for clarity. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? The agenda, we're going to proceed with the election director's report. Madam Director?
Thank you. So your meeting materials were prepared and the notice of the meeting was posted on November 7th. We have a deputy director position that actually closed Monday. So we will be hiring for that position hopefully by the end of November or early December. I attended the monthly Mayo and meetings with SBE. I also met with Clay Stamp, our county manager, and Martha Sparks, director of finance, to discuss the matter pertaining to the FY 26 and 27 budgets, and I'll go into more detail about that later in the agenda. At this time, I do not have anything to report as far as correspondence. Voter registration as of October 31st, there were 28,850 active registered voters in Talbot County. We have conducted the battery test for all the poll books and the charging of the batteries for the printers. Fred has he has also attended the election technology committee meetings and the risk limiting audit workshop meeting, work group meeting. Again, candidate filing is open. It began February 25th. It will close on February 24th, 2026. Polling place plans have been submitted to the Maryland State Board of Elections for review and approval. SBE will hold 2 meetings in December and begin to review those plans. The first meeting is scheduled for December 4th. Election judge interest applications were sent to voters who have contacted their office to serve as election judge for 2026 cycle. They were sent on October 2nd. 311 applications were sent out. 145 were Democratic, 115 were Republican, 49 were other, and 2 are undetermined. We have received about 100 of those applications back. A second correspondence was sent on November 4th to those who have not filled out their application yet. There were 206 emails sent out. 94 of those were Democratic, 77 were Republican, 39 were other, and 1 was unknown. We will continue to send monthly correspondence to those voters who have expressed interest in being election judges until we receive either the completed application back or notification that they're no longer interested in being an election judge. A report documenting the Board of Elections expenditures for FY 2026 was in the board packet. There are no significant expenditures to report at this time. Again, I met with the county manager and the director of finance to discuss the timeline for the 2026 primary election and the impact it may have on it, the 26-27 budgets. And it was determined that we do not need to make any adjustments at this time. And again, I'll go into further detail later in the agenda. Other projects, the Board of Elections website has been updated and reformatted. There have been new graphics added as well as some additional content. We hope the new format will continue to be helpful to voters in search of election information. As we go along, if we find that adjustments need to be made, we will make those adjustments. And we do have a couple of other items we'd like to add into our website for users. The state board meetings for December will be December 4th and December 11th at 2 p.m. And that is all I have at this time.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions or comments for the director?
Yeah, I have a question. Madam Director, it's indicated that 311 applications were sent out. It shows that there were 30 more sent to Democratic persons versus Republican persons. Can you tell us why? I'm not challenging you on it, but I think we be helpful to tell us why.
Right. So the list of names that we have are individuals who have signed up through our website. We have a link that if someone is interested, they can enter their name and email address, and then we send out correspondence to those individuals. So that the number that you're seeing is the number of individuals we have had signed up through that link, and I should add that voters can also check a box on their voter registration indicating that they would like to be an election judge. So we also use that. We don't get very many, but it's also a way to get election judges. Yeah, Donna.
Just to clarify, it also includes returning judges who have let us know that they wish to return.
Yeah, so thank you for the clarification. So it also includes our returning judges, as Donna said, and then we have additional names that have signed up through that link.
Are you saying that there were 30 more Democrats than Republicans who sent applications who are indicated their interest?
Yeah.
Next question, of the 100 applications that were returned, do you have a party breakdown?
I don't have a party breakdown at this time. I will have one as we get closer. We're 7 months out from the election, so it's hard to determine what our numbers are going to be at this time, but we're with 311 names. We're hoping we get more than a third of those individuals' applications and indication that they want to serve as election judges or commitment as we move forward.
Even though that you have more Democrat applicants, for the amount of judges that we need, you have enough Republicans to fill vacancies to make it even as possible.
So let me clarify. So we have 311 names. That being said, we have sent out applications to those individuals to have them fill out, because to be an election judge, you have to fill out the paperwork and then you have to go through the training. So while we have 311 names, we don't have 311 people committed to being election judges. So at this time, when you're asking about parity or what, we have this amount to cover this amount, we can't give a definitive answer on that because we don't have the actual commitment of all of those people. So we have to look at it optimistically that we'll get more than a third of those people back. Now, when you look at the breakdown of the third that we get back, then we have to get into how we're going to schedule. Now, again, we say we will be as party balanced as possible because as we go along, we have to fill positions. And
Sure, it's fluid.
yes, so there's no definitive answer. to
Okay,
that
but in a
question.
perfect world, okay, in a perfect world, how many positions do we have to fill?
So election judges is not a perfect world
Well, I know that.
That is
I'm just saying,
plain and
let's
simple.
just pretend that it's a perfect world.
Because you have
How
so many
how
variables.
many judges do you need?
Let's-
How many
let's-
judges do you need?
So we need approximately 125 judges,
Okay,
but it would actually be 135 because we try to get at least 10 standbys
Standbys,
to
yeah.
fill in. Your question is, the reason why it's not a perfect world is because you're looking at filling out the entire county. If I had a majority of our election judges come from the Easton area. If I say to an election judge from Cordova, hey, I need someone down in Hillman, and they come back and say, I know, we're supposed to, because a part of being an election judge is we try to schedule you as close to your home precinct as possible. But if I have 50 people in Easton and I only have 30 places between Easton High School and Easton Firehouse, and I have 50 people, I need somebody to go to Tillman, and they say, well, I don't want to travel that far, then I don't have an election judge in Tillman.
I understand the complexity of trying to make it all work. I just wanted to get a basic number of how many judges we needed and go from a starting point to fill the position. So,
But
I know Donna has explained, at previous meetings, how difficult it is to juggle everybody around. But I think the 125 is an important number because you've had a fair amount of applicants from all parties. And then there's still the question that I brought up at the last meeting is about for primaries for unaffiliated voters. They can't vote in a primary. Are we going to consider them as judges?
so that's not entirely true. If there's a nonpartisan race on the ballot and
Oh,
unaffiliated
that's true.
voter
I
can
forgot.
vote.
School, we have school board races, yes.
So if there's they can vote. So, and the law does allow us to use unaffiliated voters if we so need to do so. So at this time, we will take everything into consideration as we, plan for the election.
Okay,
We feel that the process that we have in place to assign our election judges is working, and we will move forward accordingly. And again, we will try to do as party balance as we possibly can. So that would be my answers.
okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments for the director? All right, thank you. We will proceed with the board attorney's report.
Yes, I have an update since your last meeting and in between the last meeting and this meeting. We have received 4 Open Meetings Act complaints to the Open Meetings Compliance Board related to permissibility of closed sessions, some to discuss election judges and others to obtain advice on election law. The meetings complained of are span between 2024 and 2025. I have filed responses to 3 of those. The 4th response is due today. Then the complainant has a period of time to file a response, and then we can file a response. And if we do, then the opinion from the Open Meetings Compliance Board will be issued in 30 days. Once I get, of course, those opinions, I will send them out to you all. But if you're interested in copies of the complaints or the responses, I can also send those out. Just let me know. And I'm gonna bombard you with extra paper, but I'm happy to send out if you're interested.
How does the board feel about getting copies of those? I think I would like, I think it would be helpful.
Okay.
I would like to, yeah.
Yeah, I'll just send them
Yeah.
all out.
Now, these are not necessarily our county.
These are specific to this board.
Well, then
Yeah.
I need them, yeah.
Okay.
Any questions for the attorney? All right, thank you. We have old business. We sound like a broken record with the facility for the election office, but again, we want to keep it on the radar. Is there anything new to report?
In my meeting with the county manager and the director of finance, I did ask, just to keep it, in the forefront of their minds. They said, Mr. Stamp said that at this time, there's been no movement or no new, information on that, but we are still on the list. So, at this time, no answers for you. Or no additional updates, I should say.
Thank you. And new business, we have the upcoming proposed budget for 2027. Do you have any information on that?
So, as I stated earlier, I met with, Mr. Stamp and, Ms. Sparks, in regards to the FY 27 budget. I had some concerns as to, because the primary election falls, at the end of June, which is close to the end of the fiscal cycle, whether our payments to election judges and for polling places would come out of the FY 26 budget or have to go into the 27 budget. In my conversation with them, they informed me or assured me that we should be within the time frame to have the expenses come out of the FY 26 budget. If something were to come out of FY 27, we should be able to, our budget should cover that. The only, one of the concerns I had was with talk about redistricting. If the primary date were to get pushed back at any point, that would push us into FY 27, which then we would have to ask for additional funds to cover 2 elections. Just to clarify, usually our budgets, each cycle, there's 1 election, either a primary or general. But again, in conversation with Mr. Stamp and Ms. Sparks, they assured me that we should, we should be able to work with them to make any arrangements we need to make. And we will discuss it again as we get closer to the budget being submitted, which is the end of January, early February, and then make decisions at that time.
I have a question, and mainly it's for the benefit of the public that you're meeting. Is the Board of Elections totally funded by Talbot County? Or is there state money that's allocated to us,
No, we're fully funded by the county.
even though we have state employees?
That is correct.
So during the December meeting, we will be discussing the 2027 budget.
Yeah, so during the December meeting, you should have a copy of the preliminary budget. And then January, you will have the final before it is submitted to the county for review.
All right, thank you very much. Are there any disclosures? And at this time, we also have board comments. Is there anyone on the board interested in making any comments? No? The next meeting of the Board of Elections will be December 17th at 9:30. And at this time, there being no other business, is there a motion to adjourn?
One question, for the December meeting, will there be a closed session?
Yes.
Okay.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Madam President, I move for adjournment.
Is there a second?
A second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
You need to get a copy of the minutes for you to sign before you leave.
Okay.
December meeting. December, about, is that the end of year?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll do the full